Good day, everyone. This is Rajesh Puneyani, based out of Bangalore, and I'm Senior Director of Technology Operations, Lowe's Global Services. As we have witnessed during the pandemic and ever since, speed, convenience, omni-channel, and a very good customer experiences has always been a very key driver for making a shopping decision for any customer. Now, consumers prefer more flexibilities, in delivery options in terms of doorstep delivery, curbside delivery, contactless experience, more, tech-heavy experience because they are very comfortable with the tech. Now, having said that, moving towards the omni-channel retail strategy is one thing that we have seen emerging as a major phenomenon from the global crisis. The primary aim of retailers that we are witnessing has been to provide seamless customer experience that can not only boost the business, but of course the ease of shopping and ease of seeing how what customer is actually buying from a holistic point of view. For example, for the small to mid-sized ones, it is very personalized selling and digitizing the payments. And as we have seen, the whole payment gateways, the channels, and the options which are introduced over the last 2, 3, or 4 years, that is phenomenal. But for the larger players such as Lowe's, omni-channel is the keyword because of the kind of a business that we are in. The move towards strengthening the omni-channel strategies means we have to work on and strengthening a lot of related factors. So we are talking about a whole lot of data and AI for understanding the consumer behavior and improving the customer experience. We have to talk about cybersecurity because everything again is so much digitized, and there is always a danger of how are we dealing with the data, how are we dealing with the privacy of customer and merchant data. Financial, non-financial, and there are a whole lot of rules and guidelines that the retailers have to follow. The supply chain management and the transformation, which of course is a big area right now from a transformation point of view, that has to be a key factor. Considering how the countries are connected, how the ecosystems are connected in the overall global supply chain management. Now, if you talk about Uber-like tracking features, then obviously the tech integration in delivery of all these features is absolutely critical. For example, the self-checkouts. Giving the freedom and flexibility to the customers to do a self-checkout of things at store level. Interestingly, e-commerce and digital-first retailers had always, the privilege of working with the tech-savvy customers. The tech infrastructure and the customer experience strategies. When I say that, what it actually means is they could focus more on managing the workplace and people crisis for VCT because they didn't have to deal with too much of technology at that time. They were already ahead in the game plan and the curve. In terms of supply chain, retailers, including Lowe's obviously prominently, had to rethink their supply chain because nobody was ready for what was happening or what was going to happen in the pandemic crisis, of course. And then look forward to adopting technologies which is actually more adaptive and more suitable for their business behaviors and the customer patterns. And again, not to forget that if you bring technology, keeping certain consumer behavior and experience in mind, and by the time you implement that, the consumer behavior would have changed as well. And this is how the consumer behavior and choices, were getting evolved as well. So this spanned across multiple inventory, sales, delivery, overall procurement, merchandising, and fulfillment areas as well. Now, that is on a generic industry level, right? Now, if I talk about Lowe's, we had to scale and deliver multiple newer solutions during the pandemic period. And of course, we know that what kind of a busy period we all went through, delivering and implementing those newer solution areas. We had to fast track some of the re-platforming of our e-commerce platform from our legacy to the GCP solution. And instead of moving incrementally to support visitors, we had to triple down the overall capacity of environment, and which went from 10% to 25% and eventually to 100% just in a matter of weeks because everyone wanted to do the online shopping and online experience. On Lowe's.com, which is our prominent e-commerce portal, we saw 39% growth on a 2-year basis. Q1 2022, obviously call transcript that of course we are quoting here. On the stores front, which is obviously our biggest frontier from the business point of view, we rolled out self-checkout. We rolled out buy online, pick up in store kind of new features for the customer. Pick up lockers, curbside pickup, so that we are giving that full flexibility to the customer, so that they can do the business they want and they can choose how they want that delivery or the items to be delivered to them. If they want to go and pick it up without going through the COVID protocols and social distancing. So we had to roll out all those features in a span of maybe a few weeks itself, which generally takes a lot of time to implement from a technologically challenging environment. So people began spending more time at home, Obviously, because of the travel and some of the outdoor activities were not happening, and there were a lot of investment going on in home improvement projects, and that is where the home improvement and the retail industry flourished during those period, right? There was a sudden surge that we saw immediately in online shopping and even on the store side. Customers were looking for ways to shop, spend their discretionary money, on some of those major improvement projects, which I did not do those projects, but obviously the pandemic, of course, gave them an opportunity to, make their workplace better, because that was going to be their workplace and that was going to be their home for a longer period of time as well. And they were looking for a lot of contact-less ways of shopping with faster checkouts. We had to scale and deliver a lot of new solutions, I just mentioned, to make sure that we give them those features, we give them those experiences to support our growth. Now, coming specifically to Lowe's India, it played an integral part of transforming the customer experience for a few projects that, of course, I will talk about, and for the customers of Lowe's companies, right? We have built capabilities across merchandising, which is a key driver that I spoke a little while ago, supply chain, and finance area as well, building the cutting edge technology products and solutions across the whole value spectrum of retail chain. So some of the examples that I would love to quote here is which are done from India. Is technology self-checkout, as I mentioned. Obviously, you don't have to be dependent on long queues or the checkout to make payment. So the self-checkout was commissioned during this period. One Roof Media Network, and of course the pro-based business, which is of course one of the very critical driver of our business, in our headquarters. So that focused technology initiative so that we can give the best of the experience to pros, and that experience was driven on technology front from India, and the overall support of the omni-channel business, which was a need of the hour as well. Now, this is on the technology front, but of course, on the business operations front, we engaged big time on space planning in India. We were engaged and delivered multiple products on online merchandising and some of the other non-tech portfolios as well. Now, it will be incomplete for me to say that Lowe's global sourcing, which offers a wide array of product mix to our customers, in the last 2 years we have seen huge amount of growth in the value that the global sourcing services from India is delivering, and the array of products that we source from India, of course, for the headquarters, including a lot of private brands that we generally are, onboarding onto the Lowe's portfolio as well. So this clearly shows how in those 2 or 3 years, Lowe's India actually played a major part in terms of how the organization could continue to move forward in spite of the challenges and constraints, from a pandemic point of view, and of course keep adding value at whatever level. We were not restricted to technology. We made sure that holistically at 360 degree, we can contribute in every area where the Lowe's business would get benefit. All right, so I would start by saying that almost every function here at Lowe's has integrated AI ML technology to some extent, to varying degrees, of course, and I'll give a few examples here. But before I give an example, I'll tell you that as a leader, of course, last 6 or 7 months or 8 months, I was engaged into a higher, program at my end, at my own personal time, to actually upgrade and upskill myself into the AI ML area as well. And then again, you could see where the focus was moving forward. If the leaders do that, and obviously there is a roadmap, there is a strategy, and the whole organization follows, right? Now, coming back to the meat of, what are the various areas we leverage the IoT and AI ML. So first is, of course, forecasting is one of the biggest deal, in the retail business. Demand forecasting, based on which, of course, you will, sell, you will stock, you will do a whole lot of other planning on the supply chain side, right? Now, it helps us answer critical questions like what is going to sell, how much it is going to sell, from which store it is going to sell. If we have to deliver an item from a store or particular facility, how much it is going to flow through that network. And another area which I can think of is inventory management, of course, how much to keep, what to keep, and what is moving fast, and the whole 9 yards of the inventory management as well. Now, given the scale of our business and the business complexities arising due to various macro and microeconomic factors, as we have been talking about it, we developed a lot of sophisticated solutions that is helping our business make decisions on how much to keep in buffer, and all other questions that I mentioned, getting some insights and answers from those questions. And all of this was possible because we had the data. We could implement certain AI, and ML levers and analytics to get some meaningful answers through which the senior leadership team and executive leadership team could actually take some good, decisions on that front as well. Now, another good example that comes to my mind is, the sourcing optimization. And again, this is, partly connected from a supply chain point of view as well, which deals with what is the best delivery location for a customer. As multiple locations hold the same item, what is the most optimized way for the customer to get it, so that obviously delivery costs are optimized, the time is optimized, and the customer has stuff which obviously he needs it on priority. So answering where we should ship it from often becomes very tricky and critical. We use AI ML drastically to answer some of those questions, and I think this is still an area which is work in progress because the more and more data you have, more accurate your AI ML engines can become as well. Now, it would be again incomplete if I don't talk about the productivity of the developers. So that has been one of the key focus areas for us to make sure that we use the data in AI ML to make sure that we enhance developers' productivity as well. And that is where our platform team is helping build foundational frameworks and platforms to support our engineering teams in understanding where the productivity is and of course the measures to enhance them in turn as well. This, I tell you, is a game changer for us as we can now build and test technology solutions faster and continue adding value to our business as well. So there are various new more examples that I can quote, but I'm sure these are the top 3 or 4 where we, of course, we have seen great amount of benefit, in holistically from the Lowe's business and from a technology point of view. So let's just go back a few years, and I would say specifically 2018. That is when, of course, a major transformation started happening for us. So if I talk about until 2018, we were a conventional brick and mortar retailer. People who are closer to US and people who know Lowe's store or some of our other competitors in that space. But since then, from 2018 onwards, our focus moved to creating value in everything we do. It is not just about selling stuff. It is all about what we can do to support the businesses to achieve organizational goals. And we began focusing on following an integrated business strategy for technology as well. Now, when we say that, so, a little deeper, if I go there, we realigned our leadership team to improve our focus, better leverage our omni-channel capabilities at Lowe's, and deliver increased value for our customers and associates and shareholders as well. So holistically, we were addressing our customers, our associates, our shareholders, our stakeholders at all possible level, from that point onwards. Now, 2019 was an inflection point for us in many ways, and of course, we'll talk about that. When we began to rethink our tech stack fundamentally, are we designed to take care of problems for the future? Are we seeing things based on what we know right now from a problem point of view, or are we seeing things based on what the problem could be, anticipating the problem even before the problem has started happening? So with that mindset and with that thought process, moving away from a package solution to building products and solutions in-house, because obviously in that case we know what the product is required to do for us. On the modernized open stack and open source technologies and microservices architecture, moving away from monolithic, the application which were written and serving the customer till that time. Now we set up the product teams because we realize that the product management and the product teams are absolutely critical for us to see everything from the lens of a product and keep enhancing those products through the product management lifecycle. So those product teams were created to run the charter on product development, product enhancement, and the overall life cycle of product management. This was another big point for us, starting 2019. Now, nothing is in sort of complete holistically from a transformation on technology till we talk about the enterprise architecture. So the setting up and establishing an enterprise architecture unit to drive technology strategy and architecture, platform reengineering, and setting up the technology standards, frameworks, and governance across the organization, so that the amount of work that is happening at the tech level, there is a reference architecture, there is a consistency, and there is a governance across the organization, so that holistically this can be managed, holistically this can be developed in a seamless manner. And we knew that no matter who's writing the applications and who's writing the code, eventually they all have to interact with each other. And if they're not written consistently, it will be very difficult for those applications or microservices to talk to each other, and we will not be able to succeed in sustaining that kind of a growth, which is obviously required to build our systems for the larger customer demands. Now, the future of home improvement retail that I mentioned is all about digital, which means obviously you are in a digital world and you are in a physical world as well. So how do we integrate and then make sure that the omni-channel and some of the other environments come together and do a visual commerce which will define customer experiences? And some of the top trends which I see in retail, augmented reality, virtual reality, metaverse, which drives the immersive experiential dropping, cashless from a payment point of view, contactless, autonomous shopping and delivery experience, and hyper personalization. Because I don't want to buy something which is offered to me. I want something which can be personalized. So that hyper personalization obviously is going to be the key to make sure customer feels attracted towards your offerings, your services. The social shopping is going to be increasing because we feel that people are inclined to buy what they see, others are going forward. At least their choices will get influenced more from the social, platform perspective. And the metaverse in retail, of course. Now we are talking about metaverse just from at a high level, how the concept looks like, but how the retail will happen in the metaverse is going to be driving some of the retail industry transformation. And at Lowe's, we are already leveraging the technology to the latest and greatest trends to cater to fast evolving customers. For example, I'll put that again: measure your space, store maps, metaverse. We always give an example of Uber-like delivery tracking experience, buy online and pick up in stores, and variety of other experiences to the customer. All these things are going to be the differentiator. Whosoever provides it will continue to thrive in the market from a retail point of view, no matter which segment of retail market you are in. And again, there will be businesses, if they don't adopt to some of these, I'm sure they will be lagging, and of course they will be looking forward to always playing a catch up.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.